Hello and welcome to the show. Well, I tell you what, we've got a great show planned for you. You know, all month we've been celebrating fathers. This is called The Power of a Father. And so we have two spectacular guests that are going to be on the show. The first guest is going to be Tom Swanseger, and he is the executive director of Father to Father Inc. And then you're going to meet a very special father. His name is George Lee. And I tell you what, he's a special father. He's a diversity and inclusion professional, and we're going to hear all about it. And he is a father. So listen, I want you to just sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com. Welcome back to the show. I told you we've got a great show planned for you. You know, this is all about fathers. And yes, to the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I know that's coming up on Sunday. And so I want to tell you happy Father's Day and just have a wonderful time with your family. And so we're celebrating fathers. But in order to do that, there are several programs in the United States, around the country, where you can learn about how you can be a father, what this means to be a father. And so I am just excited. That's why I'm all tongue-tied right now. And Tom, you know what I'm talking about. And so I have the pleasure of introducing you to Tom Swanseger, who is the executive director of the Father to Father Inc. program. Come on out, Tom.
Hi, Tammy. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Listen, I got a little tongue twisted because I'm excited to hear about this. And I tell you, when the Conscious Lee comes on, I am excited about that as well. So, Tom, let's talk about the Father to Father Inc. But I want to talk to you first because just as we were talking off camera, you told me you were from New Jersey. How did you get to the Low Country?
Well, I got to the Low Country due to the fact of COVID. So I previously worked for the YMCA for about 25 years, and then due to COVID and everything happening, my wife and I took the opportunity to pack it all up and move it down south. So,
Wow.
in New Jersey and down to the south area. So, and when the opportunity for Father to Father became available for me, it seemed like a no-brainer. Me having such a powerful father figure in my own life just really enabled me to provide the utilities necessary for other fathers to be a very positive influence in their children's lives.
Wow. You know, you just said something, and that was that you learned a lot from your father. What was some of the lessons, if you can name about two of them, what were some of those lessons you learned from your father?
And my father is a great man. He taught me to respect my elders. That was number one. You always got to respect your elders and follow the rules. So, you know, those are the big lessons that he embedded in me, but he was a great provider for me and my siblings. He never wanted for anything. He was a hard worker and just a good man.
Wow. And so I know you have passed those traits on, and they have been instilled in you, as you said, moving on and doing the work that you do. Working with the YWCA, I was executive director of the YWCA. You were the YMCA for over 2 years there in Charleston. So let's talk about this Father to Father Inc. because it used to be called the Father to Father Project.
Correct.
And now I want you to share with us the summary of what that project is and what the organization does.
So as an organization, our mission is really to help fathers in the Low Country of South Carolina be a positive and consistent presence in their children's lives. That's really what we're looking to do. A lot of fathers come to us and folks think that, you know, they're back on child support. They think that they're deadbeats. They're not really deadbeats. They're just dead broke. So we're trying to help them reconnect with their families, get back into their children's lives and be a consistent part of it. Statistics show by having a father figure in a child's life will overall improve their ability to go to college, to finish high school, and just do better things. So that is our goal, is to make them that positive presence in their life.
Yeah, and how do you do that? What are those services that you provide for your programs? And talk about those programs.
So we really take a holistic approach to our program. So we go through four components that the fathers, well, let me back up. The fathers have to come in, they get an intake done and an evaluation done with our tremendous interventionist, Mr. Sean Wilson, and Mr. Corinthian Winton, Mr. Vincent Mercer, and Miss Victoria Richardson. So they do a great job. We're there. They're taking in their information, making sure that they qualify for our program. And once we figure out that they qualify our program, then we take the holistic approach to it, where we're really looking at four components. So those components being parenting, men's health, relationship building, and economic mobility. So it's really having them focus back onto themselves and what they can do to improve the relationship with their child.
Okay. And so, as we're talking about this, talk about the fathers that you've helped. I mean, about how many fathers have you been able to help? And I know you've only been there since January, but I know you probably have some statistics.
Yeah, I mean, we aim to help at least 300 fathers per year. So, over the years, we've been there 20 years now, so we're talking countless numbers of individuals that we've helped. And all of these programs that we offer are free. There is no cost to any participant. There is no barrier that we can cross for them at no cost to them. So a lot of times our participants that we are dealing with, right now, post-COVID, our participants are 60% voluntary and 40% appointed through the court system. And they go through a program called Jobs Not Jail. So instead of having the father that's behind on child support go into jail, cost taxpayer money, we take them out, we get them their driver's license back, we find them employment, and we get them back into society and being able to pay back on their child support. We work with the moms of their children so we can get them back to square one and repair their relationship. If they don't have a job or they're underemployed, we have our employment specialist, Ms. Kiki, who is going out and pounding the pavement for them, getting them resume building, doing mock interviews with them. So there's tons of opportunities that we're able to give these fathers that cost them nothing. So all we say to them is, we need your time and your commitment, and you're going to come out a better man.
And what is the length of this program? About how long does this program last for them?
It could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months, depending on how committed they are. We've had participants get out quicker, but they go through all of the program and do the time. Then we can get them in and out quickly. Our outreach specialists are out there trying to bring them in and get them through it in the best way that they possibly can. So we have a truly dedicated team who are just really willing to go above and beyond for fathers.
Wow, I'm excited about it. As you were talking, I heard the word partnership, and I also heard the words in my mind about resources. So, what do those partnerships look like for you with the Father Inc.?
So we have tons of partnerships with local agencies. We work with Trident College. They're hosting our youth camp this summer for us. They are also providing free service for our participants as well. We work with Palmetto Project to do other sorts of things. So local the local Rotaries have been very, very helpful with us as well with donations, with our literacy program that we're working with our fathers and their children, where dads can read to their kids and take books, and we're promoting that as well. So, it's just the amount of people that we've been able to reach out to. The Winthorpe Foundation has been a tremendous help to us as well, and we can't thank everybody enough.
Wow, and those resources that you are able to provide, I mean, because after all, this is a nonprofit organization, and you are, as everybody else is, trying to survive, trying to make it, trying to help fathers. And I can only imagine, those resources. But when you talk about being able to help fathers gain employment, that's important. I mean, that's an important piece of the puzzle. Because as we know, fathers, if they don't have the opportunity for employment, then it's like, they're ready to give up. And they're ready to say, well, is this worth it? And that's what I'm going to be talking with Mr. George Lee about as well when he comes on. Because fathers, a lot of times, as you know this, you have those fathers that come in and they say, I'm ready to give up. What can you do to help me? And so what do you ask the community to help you with as Father to Father Inc. is moving on?
I think for us, it's just for community awareness. We're always willing to accept donations. So, that any amount is always helpful. $250 with one of our participants through one of our programs. Like one of the components. So we'll get them through Men's Health, because we're not just providing them with the education, we're feeding them, we're providing food for them if needed. So we're providing any amount of assistance that they need to become successful and become successful in their child's life. Because at the end of the day, it's about the kids, really. It's about the future. It's about the future of America. So when the father's successful, the child's successful. And you can see that my father was a successful dad, and I'm proud to say that I'm a successful exec here, a father to father.
Me also. I think about my dad all the time. He's not with us anymore, but I think about him and hoping that he's looking down, seeing the success of how he helped me through those many years as I was growing up. And so let's talk about the pandemic, because I know that you just came on in January, but I wanted to find out from you about what were some of the successes or the challenges that the program had during the pandemic.
I mean, certainly had us on our toes because we weren't really ready for it. So we did a lot of virtual meetings. With the jails being closed, we weren't getting the participants out as quickly as we wanted to. So, when the participants are in jail because they're incarcerated because they're behind on child support, the child support still accrues as they're sitting in jail. So our mission is to get them out so they can start paying. So, with the jails closed, it's slowed down the process of us getting them out. But we definitely had to utilize a lot of technology. A lot of social distancing once we decided that we were going to open back up, and just really getting them all back in, but at a smaller scale than we were used to. So it's just really getting them reacquainted with the way things are doing. We're starting to open back up, so we're seeing a lot more faces. But during the pandemic, we were utilizing a lot of Zoom, and just utilizing technology for that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah. And so moving forward, we're starting to open back up and wondering, how has the pandemic helped you all reshape or rethink your programs that you're doing now?
I think it offers us the opportunity to do like virtual orientations for folks. We offer that every week at 10 a.m. And they can go on and check out what we do and how we do it with our staff that are leading those orientations. So that information can be found on our website. So I think that is really good. That's helped us utilize to get our name out there. I think we're the best kept secret in the Low Country. A lot of people don't know about us, but I will say we've hired a marketing person, Ms. Phillips, who has been remarkable. She's been with us for a month, so we're getting the word out there. So if you haven't heard about us yet, we're coming. You're going to hear us loud and clear.
Well, when you talk about the best kept secret, it's not a secret anymore.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's not a secret anymore because I've known about the Father Project, which it was named then, many years ago, and I remember the wonderful things that were started and how it has now grown into where you are in your shoes now. So let's talk about the events that you have coming up. I know that our producer has dug. She's been digging real deep, and so she has something that she'd like us to show. And I just want to come back when she shows it. I want you to kind of talk about it because we'll be off camera. All right, Miss Tiana. Okay, Tom, if you will go ahead and let us know what this celebration is all about.
So it's really our dedication on June 26th from 12 to 3. It's a great community event. It's open to everyone, so come on out. We're doing a cornhole tournament for families. We're doing a cornhole individual tournament, but we'll have game trucks there, ice cream trucks, bounce house. Excuse me, a bouncing castle. My staff, that's my jersey coming out. My staff corrects me all the time. We call it a bounce house around here. So a bouncing castle. So we'll have free food and games and prizes and face painting. So it's going to be like a really, really great time for everyone. So we invite all the community to come out to our North Charleston office off Woodbine Avenue, 5675 Woodbine, from 12 to 3. Everyone's invited.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, Tiana, I think you brought a clip as well. All right, let's get ready for the clip.
In case you didn't know, dads are some of the most important people in the lives of kids like me. Dads aren't only fun, but they're fundamental in the development of kids everywhere. My dad makes me feel loved and special. My dad helps me feel better when I'm hurt or sad.
My dad is my biggest fan. Dads are some of the most important people in the lives of kids like me. Help local dads be engaged fathers to impact the safety and economic well-being of our community.
Wow, that is a commercial.
Yes.
I love the fact that you have the children talking about their dads, because my face lights up when I talk about my dad. And it's nothing like little girls talking about their dads, right, Mr. Lee? I know you can hear us, but it's nothing like little girls and little boys talking about my daddy, my daddy. So congratulations to you on that. We want to make sure that we let people know about your Father's Day celebration. So I want to talk to you now about the future. What does the future look like for the Father to Father Inc.?
So we service 8 counties, and so our future looks bright and healthy. So right now we're in Monk's Corner, and we are in the North Charleston area. And so we are looking to expand our programs into the Waterboro area for the services that are needed there. So that's what our plans are. Our Mr. Ragland, our Director of Operations, and myself, those are our big plans for 2022 is to really get out there and get a new office going, just because there's definitely a need for us there, and we can definitely provide the services that are needed. Our board's very engaged in that as well, making sure that we have a presence in each one of the counties that we represent. So I think that that's ultimately our goal, but it's just continuing to grow, serve more dads, giving them quality programming, and having them walk out better participants, better people from our program.
Right, and what is one of the things, or one of the, I guess I want to say, one of the observations that one of your fathers has shared with you about the program?
So today, we were interviewing. We have a position open, and one of our former participants was interviewing for it. We asked him that specific question, so I'm glad that you asked me that. And
Wow.
for the people watching, that wasn't planned. And what he said, what he got out of our program was to be a better father. For him to be a better father, he needed to compromise more. He needed to compromise with his child's mother more and realize that it's not about him and her, it's about their child. And for me, that's what it's all about. With the YMCA background, I used to be a camp director and a child care director. It's about the kids for me, and I want to make sure kids succeed, and they succeed by having a healthy relationship with the father and a mother there. So a two-parenting household is really what makes a child better.
Yeah, that's golden. You can't ask for anything more. And that question just came to me. It wasn't anything we rehearsed or talked about or anything. And so I'm glad to hear that, because it's important when you can say to someone that you have made a difference in my life, that now I can take care of my children based on the fact that you helped me in this program. And I think from the beginning, as I said, knowing the Father to Father project, that's what it's always been about. It's been about helping men be able to take care of their children.
Agreed.
Yeah. So Tom, we want to show the website, Tiana. We want to show everything so that people can get in touch with you and be able to talk with you if they know anybody. Get in touch with the Father to Father program. So you have your website, Facebook page, and Instagram.
And we're living the dream.
Yeah, that's right. Listen, these days you can't be doing all of this without having an Instagram page. I tell you, or even that's right, or even a Facebook page. So let me ask you this: what is the last thing that you would like to share with the viewers, or the takeaway that you want the viewers to know about Father to Father Inc.?
I think the biggest takeaway is just the importance of what we're doing every day, and making sure that fathers are a part of their children's lives. And the important part with that being said is that every dollar helps. So in June being Father's Day, the month of Father's Day, we're always willing to take in donations of any kind and any amount. But the biggest takeaway is we are improving men's lives every single day in the work we're doing.
Wow, Tom, thank you for being on the show. I always ask my guests the last three things, and that's 3 words that describe you, or you can describe your organization.
3 words that describe my organization:
Yes.
empowering, unique, and one of a kind.
One of a kind. Wow. Well, I tell you what, empowering, unique, one of a kind, Father to Father Inc., Mr. Tom Swanseger, the executive director. I want to thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I learned a whole lot from you. About what's going on. Yeah, thank you. And you and your wife enjoy this time, enjoy the low country, and have a good time this weekend.
Pleasure meeting you. Take care.
It's a pleasure talking with you and meeting you as well. Tom, take care of yourself. Thank you again.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you heard it right here. It's the Father to Father Inc. And you can get in touch with them on their website, fathertofatherinc.org. You can go to their Facebook page, Father to Father Inc. You can go to their Instagram, Father to Father SC. And the phone number is 843-744-2126. All right, thank you again, Tom, for being on the show. All right, so listen, our next segment, we're going to be talking to an amazing, spectacular gentleman. His name is Mr. George Lee. He's the Conscious Lee is what they call him. And so I'm looking forward to talking with him when we come back. So again, I always want you to just sit back, relax, and enjoy, because it's coming up again.
Charleston and surrounding areas, get ready for the Root of Soul J19 Fest, happening June 18th through the 19th at Ladson Exchange Park, home of the Coastal Carolina Fair. And it all kicks off Friday night with the opening ceremony with Demetrius Dr. Trio featuring the Wives and the Vogue Dance Company of Charleston, plus an outdoor party with DJ Kid Capri and DJ SNS. That's Friday night. Then Saturday, it's workshops and panels on the culture, plus the big poetry slam hosted by Courtney Nicole with music by DJ B Lord, plus the gospel explosion with Pastor H.E. Dixon, Terrell Smalls and Company, Kelante Gavin, and Jonathan McReynolds. And then it's the main concert featuring Kiki Wyatt live, along with the Grammy Award winning Ranky Tanky. There'll be food trucks, vendors, health and information fair, the HBCU Virtual College Fair, Kids Zone, Pain Sips, Spades, Dominoes, and more. Get more details and your tickets now at rootofsoul.com. Kids 17 and under are admitted free. It's all hosted by the Grace Impact Development Center, sponsored by Mr. Seafood, Fox Audio Visual, Explore Charleston, Low Country Acceleration Academy, Star 99.7, 99.3 The Box, and Heaven 1390. Bring your own chairs. Tents will be available on site. And yes, there will be multiple cash bars. No coolers, please.
All right. Every time I see that, I get excited because you're talking about the Root of Soul. You're talking about a Juneteenth celebration. And yes, I'm going to travel on back there to Charleston, South Carolina, and going to be there to enjoy it. I'm talking about cultural networking. Is it here to stay? I'm facilitating that panel. And guess what? We're going to have a great time. So, without further ado, guess what? We have a gentleman who is known as the Conscious Lee on social media. He's a diversity and inclusion professor. Of course, he's an educator. He has a beautiful wife, two beautiful daughters. Two beautiful children. They're daughters. I remember. I think that's right. No, a daughter and a son. Tiana's backstage waving. No. Okay, Mr. Conscious Lee. I'm sorry. Tell your wife I'm sorry. Daughter and a son. How about that? All right. And so, without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring out Mr. George Lee, the Conscious Lee. Come on out, Mr. George Lee.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, Miss Tammy.
How are you? Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us and saying that you would be a part of this exciting moment where we're celebrating fathers. So first, I want to talk with you, George, tell us a little bit about you and your career and how you became known as the Conscious Lee and George Lee Speaks.
Okay. I'm born and raised in Bryan College Station, Texas. Let me put my. I see. I got. Am I echoing?
No, you're not echoing.
Let me make sure I kill the echo. I bought the earphones just in case.
Okay, you can. Tiana, how's he sound?
Yeah. Say it again.
No, I was asking Tiana how you sounded, but I think you sound great.
Ask me, Tiana, how I sound. Make sure I'm sounding good. Make sure the audio is nice so you can hear me. But yeah, I'm born and raised in Bryan College Station, Texas. I went to the University of Oklahoma where I was a debater and named one of the top 20 debaters a decade. Through debate is where I fell in love with education, where I felt that it would be the best for me to be an educator. I'm now a professor at the University of Oklahoma. I got 2 master's degrees. And what I found is that in debate, we always talk about portable skills. I was traveling the country developing what they call portable skills. And now in social media, what I do is I use those portable skills that I developed in policy debate. Feel me? So that's how I got to be where I'm at now. And because I like to do things consciously, especially when I was debating, that's where I got the name Consciously from.
Wow. Hey, my brother, I could just sit here and listen to you the whole time. I can tell you were the debater of all time, as they say, the great debater, right?
I definitely love the debate. I'm not gonna French on them at all. I love to make arguments.
That's right. Well, listen, when you think about the power of a father and you hear that theme, how does it resonate with you?
For me, it resonates in a way that's very paradoxical, right? On one reality, I understand that as a black man, as a person that has a black father, and as a black father, I understand that the position of black fatherhood is pathologized as always being something that is lacking or something that is being ignored or something that doesn't happen. You feel me? On the other end, I know that there's a real reality of different studies that show that black fathers, especially in America, that we're most active with our kids when it comes to other fathers. We're most
Uh-oh. We lost Mr. George. We lost him. George. Okay. All right. You back? Audio. Can't hear you. We can't hear you. Nope, we can't hear you. All right. While George is coming back on, let me tell you, this brother is going to teach us some. He's going to give us some serious nuggets today. He's going to drop some gems. As you can tell, he's excited about what he does and being a father. All right, Mr.
Yeah, I'm back
Lee.
now. You can hear me now.
I
Yeah.
hear you now, man. I
Yeah,
hear
you can hear
you.
me. You can hear me now. You can hear
I-
me.
yes.
Pretty much just acknowledging that the reality of being a black father and black fatherhood, I think there's a paradox there. I think that there's one that says that black fatherhood is always something that's illegitimate and not credible. And on one notion, the other hand, the other part of the paradox, we have there are a lot of black. I
Oh,
want
we
to
lost.
talk.
I don't know.
Let's see
Okay.
if you want to. I went to airplane mode. I went to
Okay.
airplane mode.
All right, got you.
We good. We good now.
We good. So paradoxically, you're talking about when I asked you about power of a father, and you said the illegitimate part of that. Kind of speak to that as a father, as an African American black father. Speak to that.
Definitely. Well, we know that deadbeat dads come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. You feel me? We know that deadbeats is the concept of being a deadbeat is cross cultural. It's in every community. However, we see that black men are literally made the poster childs of being deadbeats, and I think that is part of their paradox. That says that when you have a black man or a black man that produces, we can only be sperm donors, and we cannot take care of what, you know what I'm saying, what we have produced with our sperm. And I think that's one of those pathologies of being like a black fatherhood. Like a lot of the woes in the black community are blamed on the lack of fatherhood or the non-presence of fatherhood. And I think that's something we got to speak towards.
Yeah, and as you're speaking of that, going back to enslaved Africans, and I remember specifically reading where they said that one man said, "I'm not going to be a breeder." And as you were talking about that, you were saying the sperm donor, that's what we look like. And our black men, that's what they think about. That's what a lot of majority of people think about, is that that our black men are breeders, and that's not the case. Because what I want you to talk about is your family and raising your children. As you are raising your children, what are some of those things that you think about that you want your children to learn from you, the lessons that you want them to learn from you?
For me, I think that a lot of things that we know about gender and sexuality, we really learn it in the home. You know what I'm saying? So what I want my son and my daughter to learn from me is that the gender roles is not as rigid as the world wants them to see. I love that my kids get to see me cook and clean. Now, my wife listeners don't feel like I don't cook and clean enough, but I do. You know what I'm saying? So I like that my kids get to see me being a strong black man doing things that stereotypically the world says are not manly. You feel me? And also just thinking about, like, because I'm raising my kids right now in a predominantly white area, because I teach at the university, and the university where I'm at is predominantly white. You feel me? I'm thinking about how can I instill some racial pride into my kids, though they're growing up in a predominantly white space. You know what I'm saying? And them really the main two things I'm focusing on.
Wow. And you know what? That's admirable of you, because some people may conform to their environment. Where I see that you're not going to conform, you're going to say, "Hey, listen, I've got to make sure that my children know about our history, and all that it pertains." And so, what has been your experience as a young father? And when I say that, I mean, and I talked about this earlier, some of the young fathers that I've had the opportunity to talk with, say, "Hey, why am I doing this? I want to give up, or I want to run away." Like back in the day, there were young fathers, they just couldn't take it. They just said, "Listen, I can't take it. I can't feed my child. I can't do this. I can't do that." What do you want to say to those young fathers?
I think that most fathers that are able to kind of fall into that phenomenon of running away or not being involved, I think that you have a lot of childhood trauma that you're dealing with. And just because you run away from your kids, it don't make your childhood trauma that's being triggered. And while you don't want to deal with your kids, it don't make it go away. You feel me? I know that as a black man that come from the hood, we usually talk that we can pray our problems away or we can sweep them away. But I think there's a lot of times we need real life experts, therapists. You feel me? Real experts that be able to unpackage and help us work through a lot of the pain, suffering, and trauma that we have. I think that most men that do that, they working through trauma and pain and suffering, and it's so overwhelming and so overbearing for them. They feel like the best thing they can do is leave the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the best thing you really can do.
Yeah. And so that brings me to another point. It's not only just being a father, but being a husband. Sometimes, and I can attest to this, talking with a young man, he said it's hard. You all didn't tell us being a husband and then trying to be a father at the same time was going to be this hard. What do you say to that?
Man, I'm about to say, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Hello.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. And I think that when you're trying to build something, especially when you're trying to build the things that are priceless or high in value, they're usually hard to build or come with complexity. You feel me? I think if you're really a hustler, you're really a go-getter, you're really a gangster, you're really a real nigga, whatever you want to say in terms of you want to create this archetype to say that you are that, I think that whatever you're saying you're going to be, if you are able to run away from your wife or your kids, or you're able to be trifling to your wife or your kids, then I think that as a culture, we have to start characterizing that as being anti-real nigga, anti-real man, anti-gangster, anti-streets. Like, that's not what that is. That's what I think. That's what I would debate and argue. Like, that's got to be seen as being not real.
Not real. And you know what? I love that, because now you have a topic for a debate coming up. Okay. we just gonna throw that out there. So what was your feeling when you found out that you were a father? You were going to be this father. What was that feeling like?
I had a little anxiety. I was married. I had just been married for 3 months. Me and my wife had only been married for 3 months, and we found out we was pregnant. So a part of me was excited, but a part of me had a little bit of anxiety. And I thought about when I was younger. I got married when I was 25. And I thought about when I had like pregnancy scares when I was younger. And I thought about how much I had grown and matured. And I was really excited that I didn't have as much anxiety and as much knee-jerk reactions of fear and paranoia as I used to have. And I think that I probably took it too personal, because I felt like my wife was going through a whole different experience of feelings and emotions when she found out she was pregnant than I did. You feel me? But I definitely was proud of myself that I was able to recognize how much I had grown, because I thought about years in the past, like, man, I'd be freaking out right now. I'll be this, that, and the other, so I was happy,
I know that's right. I think we all freaked out a little bit when we found out we were pregnant. I can tell you, I know I had. I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. See, into though, I'll recognize that. I think that I have the privilege of actually being raised with my father and actually having a relationship with my father, and I think that had a heavy impact on how I oriented towards fatherhood. I think most of my homeboys that didn't grow up with a daddy, most of them, one way or another, are pretty much keeping in the cycle of being a deadbeat dad one way or another. You know what I'm saying? And I think that because I was raised by a father that took care of not only me, took care of kids that wasn't his. I got sisters that's not even his, they took care of. So I think it was embedded in me to be like, hey, forget what the other dude's doing. You're going to take care of what you created, and it's your responsibility now. And it's like, if this person don't make it in life, it's on you. And I think that's how I orient myself to fatherhood. If Zane Lee or Israel Lee don't make it in life, I have to be accountable for that, because I'm supposed to be teaching them how to survive and how to navigate and how to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So I see them as an extension of me. And I think I'm a damn good man. I want them to be even better than I am. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to take extra pride
That's
and teaching
right.
them something. 'Cause I want them to be better than me. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that's how I was raised towards fatherhood, and I've noticed that most black men that wasn't raised around a father don't have that same passion and value towards raising somebody else. But they
Right.
go back to that trauma and that pain and that suffering I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back full circle. So let's talk about your father. What were some of the lessons that you learned from your father?
Man, my father taught me how to be a hustler. My father taught me how to be outspoken. When I was in college and throughout my life, my father has been incarcerated a lot throughout my life. But when my father was not incarcerated, he was doing everything he could to be present in my life. But not only presence in terms of physical, but also teaching me stuff. So a lot of the things you see on social media and most likely how you came across me was through me instilling teachings my father gave me. My father was a promoter and advertiser. You feel me? He was also sold some other things on the side as well, but he taught me how to be a hustler. He taught me how to be able to take the resources I have to make the most out of them. And he taught me how to really take a business mindset to whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole, I can talk all day about the things my father taught me.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
listen.
Right now, if I on the phone right now, we probably a debate for 3 hours. You feel me? Like, you know, that's the great shit that we got a intellectually stimulating conversation that we talk about everything under the sun.
Wow, that's exciting. So I want to talk to you about juggling because you know you have this career. I mean, you told me you've got two masters. You all over social media like none other, and you know you're a debater, you're a professor. How do you do that? How do you juggle that and be a father to your children and a husband to your wife?
I feel like I learned how to prioritize stuff. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to prioritize stuff, and I feel like because I was raised by a real life street entrepreneur, I always seen my father and people around my father, and my mother, being able to balance all these different hats and roles. And I think that because of how I did high school and how I do in college, it made it where it's something I'm used to doing. I'm used to balancing a few different things at one time. I get bored real easy. I lose interest in things easy, so I find that me doing multiple things at one time, it helped me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like most of the things help each other. You know, like even though I'm a father and you know what I'm saying, and a husband, the things I'm teaching in the classroom and researching is ultimately teaching me how to be a better father and husband. A lot of times, you feel me? And I like to debate. You know, a lot of times my experiences from being a father and being a husband come into a debate. You know, so really being able to recognize the intersectional relationship that everything I do, how it's all tied together. You know what I'm saying? My daddy was selling that illegal drug and running the store and doing concerts and taking care of that baby mama and taking care of that baby mama. I was seeing him doing all these different things and seeing how he was able to make it function and make it work.
And that's how you able to make it work.
Yeah, but with no baby mamas though.
No, you ain't got no.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I learned from it though. I learned from it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I think that's the way of, for some people. As you know, some people, even for me, I mean, I find myself, everybody always teases me because I find myself doing 50, as we say down south, 50, 11 dozen things, you know, 50, 11 dozen things, and still get it done, you know, and still do it. Like
I feel like that's really the way of our ancestors in this country. You feel me? It's like not only were you gonna be a slave or enslaved person, you're gonna be a mother or a father or a sister. You gotta take care of that home over there. You gotta clean your own cabin. You still gotta pick the, you know what I'm saying, the crops. So I think that really black people in America, in the Western world, whether you're in South America or the Caribbean, I believe we bred to be multitaskers. You know what I'm saying? It's like I gotta have a double consciousness. I gotta be always conscious about how the world see me, how I see myself, how I wanna, like, you know what I'm saying? I have to always be multitasking. So I really feel like it's like black culture, really.
Yeah, it's wired into us. It passed on down.
But the good and bad too.
That's right.
Exhaustion is real. I feel like exhaustion is real. I think it's something in our community we should do more talking about, especially as it pertains to black women. You feel me? Exhaustion and fatigue and being tired. And being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired. Hello, come on. That's it. And you know, it's amazing that you say this because I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, so I always talk about the fact that Charleston is a city all in itself. I mean, when you talk about black folks, you talk about about how we are, we've been so conditioned to still have that enslaved mentality. And I think, just like you're talking now, it's about, multitasking. It's about doing this. But one thing that I want to address with you is mental health. Mental health in our black men and our black fathers. What are your thoughts on when people say, you hear one of your brothers say, "Hey man, I'm not going to no mental therapist, no mental." What do you say to your brother about that?
If I'm being real with you, I'd be like, man, you better get off that bullshit, fam. If I'm being honest with you, that's why I say like, bro, you bullshitting, bro. Like we have conversations about what you feel and your emotions. You know what I'm saying? And I always bring up this what's the can't think of this? Who got this quote, man? I can't think. Frederick Douglass talk about how most broken men come from having bad childhoods or something like that. And I always just talk about how most of my homeboys, we've been cool since we was kids. So I remember conversations we had about breaking cycles. I remember conversations we had about how our mama made us feel, or how our daddy made us feel. I remember, having all these different things that we had to what we wanted to do. So when a person tells me as an adult that they ain't with something, it's like, whoa, there's a disconnect here, man. We had conversations about breaking a cycle because we understood how we felt psychologically. Because, your daddy went shit, so you recognize you didn't want to be there. So now that you're a father and you're recognizing that you ain't being shit. You need to go to therapy, fam. That's simple. It's like you or a southern folks, we got a lot of sayings.
Yeah.
We got a lot of sayings down south. We got a lot of sayings.
You know it.
Misery loves company.
Company. Okay. Come on.
That's a quote about mental health.
It is. You know what, George? I tell you, I love talking with you and the insight that you have about being a father and about being a black man in America. And we did in February, we celebrated black men. That's what I did. Instead of Black History, I celebrated black men, the African American black man. That's what it was all about. And so talking with you, I want to go back to the qualities you feel that a father needs. And I want to show the pictures of your son and your daughter. Right? Did I get it right?
Yeah. Hey, into my son, because he got long hair and he got the I feel like the Asian eyes. Or like eyes, I don't know how to say it. I feel like that cheek is like Orientals or something. So, but because he has the features that he has, he's always misgendered as being girl. You don't even bother me. You don't even know what I'm saying. It is what it is,
Said don't bother.
Don't even bother me.
So I want to show these pictures, and then we're going to come back to the qualities that you feel a father needs. Tiana, please bring them. Oh, look. Oh, wow. Oh.
So, and for the people watching, I'm one of those pro-black people that's open to having a conversation about colorism and about my wife being light-skinned and being able to pass as white. I'm not afraid of that conversation at all. I recognize there's a phenomenon of successful black men being with either non-black women or light-skinned black women, and I see it. I see in my beautiful family. It might come to y'all, some of y'all here. You feel me? I'm consciously on all social media platforms. I welcome a conversation about attraction, colorism, light skin, dark skin. I'm down for the conversation.
That's right. And being from the South, South Carolina, we have a lot of mulattoes and
I'm born and raised in Texas, so I know.
Hello, and I just finished talking. I just finished having this conversation about that. So George, I'm gonna have you come back on. We're gonna mix this up because man, you got a lot. When it said George Lee Speaks, what it say?
GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com, where you can find it. I got merch on there, the educate shirts and everything. You can book me up. As a matter of fact, right now I'm currently in the city of Littleton, Colorado. It's a city of about 90% white people. They brought me in to do a workshop about the unconscious consciousness of racism, and I'm actually literally doing this interview right now from their headquarters right now.
All right. Wow. Well, we're going to get you down here in the South. We're going to bring you down here to South Carolina.
I ain't never been to South Carolina. I've been to North Carolina, but I ain't never been to South Carolina.
Okay, well, we got to get you down to South Carolina. I'm gonna see how we going to get you down here, George. Yeah. So let's talk about this. And Tiana, I think you brought a clip as well, right, Tiana? Okay, so Tiana wants to show this clip while we've got some time.
too many times we've participated in our diversity and inclusion workshop, and we went there and we was just told a whole bunch of stuff you tell little kids when they go to elementary school. Treat others how you want to be treated, and we only one race, the human race. But if you come to my workshop, we're going to have a real crucial conversation where we disrupt comfort zones, because we know that racism, classism, ableism, and all the isms, they're literally kept at bay by having a comfort zone. When you tap in to GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com, just know I'm going to come there to literally problematize and disrupt the comfort zone that keep all these issues in the workplace at bay.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to get you down here. All right. So talk about the qualities of a father. What are those qualities you feel that a father needs?
I think that you have to be willing to admit when you're wrong and apologize. Because, fatherhood and apologizing is like, oppositional almost. Like, fathers don't apologize. So I think that like being able to be soft and being able to be emotional and being able to be in touch with your more sensual side of emotions and feelings, I think that's what it means to be a father. You know what I'm saying? It's like I should be able to be almost like a thermostat for the emotions of my kids. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to step into the room and be able to gauge, my kids' feelings and emotions, and being able to navigate with them, being able to talk to them, communicate with them. You know what I'm saying? Of course, being a provider, but I think that there's a lot of things about kind of being soft and being, receptive and being, expressive that I think that fatherhood is usually not defined as. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people define fatherhood as being in the home, but not necessarily being active with the kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to prioritize where I'm not only in the house with my kids, but I'm being active with my kids. I think I could do a lot better at being active with my kids. You know what I'm saying? But also too, something I've been getting into, and I know something I recognize it's gonna be something that we probably, you know what I'm saying? But I've been thinking deeply on mental health, child abuse, and spankings. I came across a TikTok video of this girl like, I had whoopings and I turned out good, look at me. She was actually a psychologist. She started listing stuff. You feel me? The things she's listed, I struggle with everything she listed pretty much. You feel me? So I think about a lot as when because I got my butt whooped when I was growing up, when I, was doing X, Y, and Z, it's almost instilled in me to when I get frustrated or my child isn't complying to what I want them to do is for me to whoop their ass. I'm recognizing there's a lot of stuff though that I deal with now that comes from me getting spanking, or from what most people would try to say is child abuse. You whooping, you putting your hand on kids, child abuse. I recognize down south, it's a whole bunch to unpackage. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? I know I'm trading down some hell of waters right now. But as a father, it's something I think about a lot. I think about a lot of when my son is doing something and he tells me no, and I get aggressive with him. Like, boy, you better. He only 3 years old.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a father, I think about when I get irritated with my son because I have hit my son in the past. He only 3. It's already in the psychology. Daddy's upset. Daddy might hit me, so he move around. That bothered me. That my 3-year-old, when he see me getting upset, he
start running.
I'm only hit him like once or twice. I don't want to hit him no more. But I'm recognizing that this is organ is like respect and fear is not the same thing. To all the fathers listening to me, respect and fear is not the same thing. And 9 times out of 10, the reason why I am the way I am when it comes to racism is because these white folks try to instill fear in me, thinking that meant I would respect them. I no longer fear them, and I have no respect for a lot of them. How does this apply to parenting? You think that your kid respect you because they fear you. Once they no longer fear you, you're going to be mad.
Oh, wow.
You're going to be upset when they don't fear you no more.
That's right.
And it's just like, I don't want my son to fear me. I want him to respect me and do what I tell him to do, not because he's scared of me, because he trusts that I'm looking out for his general welfare, for his best thing.
For his
and
best
recognizing he's scared of me is not to fight those two things. You know what I'm saying? And that's
So
what I think.
So how have you been able to work through that? Because I'm hearing you, and how have you been able to really work through that? Because yes, I mean, I got a whipping every day. I'm just going to throw it out there. I got a whipping every day. Every day. I even got a whipping when I was 23 years old. Okay?
Yeah, you went
So
over the head with that one.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So how do you combat that? And I mean raising my daughter. I may have spanked her once, and then I looked at her and she did like that. I said, I don't want her to be afraid of me. I don't want her to be afraid of me. I want her to respect me for the mother that I am. And so how do you work through that? Because I know it's a process.
I work through it by being reflective and having the utmost patience, especially when I feel like I'm about to act out of frustration or anger. When I find myself getting irritated with my kid, I purposely regulate and police myself.
Yeah.
Like when Zane, don't do that. He's no. Zane, put your listening ears on. Don't do that. And the thing now I think that's funny is because we grew up down south, we always made fun of white parenting techniques. So we always made fun of like, what's mama would put me in time? I'm gonna whoop my ass. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now look at me. Trying to do time now. So I always think about how the same people that instilled to us, spare the rod, spoil the child, are the same people that believe they shouldn't be abusing their kids in many instances as well. Yeah. So I go back to thinking about how our conditioning is so conditioned that even our conditioning is conditioned. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where it's like we almost like, though I recognize the Willie Lynch letter historically was never a thing, the phenomenon that Willie Lynch was talking about is actually real. Willie Lynch talked about, you feel me, or the phenomenon of slavery is so insidious. It's like eventually the system worked so good where you would no longer need a slave master, but the slave would still in fact do what a slave supposed to do.
That's right.
All of them Bible verses we be trying to use to justify what we justifying, that's what Master taught us.
That's right.
Congratulations, Master taught you well.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? Well, listen, George, I mean, my brother, I don't know what we got. We're running out of time, but I do want to ask you this. What's the takeaway for the audience today as it deals with being a father? What do you want people to take away from this interview?
My motto is education is elevation, you know. So hopefully we've been able to touch on some jewels as education, but the main takeaway I want y'all to take is something I said that I've never said out like that. Something I'm going to think about is how we conflate fear and respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially fathers, but definitely all parents, but especially fathers.
Wow.
I think that there's a way that we believe that masculinity is structured by domination. And sometimes we will push that onto our kids. The main takeaway is that fear is not respect.
Fear is not respect. Wow. Well, we're showing your social media now and making sure that everybody, as I've been talking about your social media at the Conscious Lee, George Lee.
Yeah, all social media platforms. That right there.
All of them. All of them. Well, listen, George, I tell you what, I have enjoyed this conversation. I thank you, my brother, for taking time while you are in where you, Minnesota?
I'm in Colorado.
Colorado.
I'm in Littleton, Colorado.
Littleton, Colorado.
White suburbia of Denver.
Littleton, Colorado, man. I thank you so much, man. Tell your wife I said hello. Give your beautiful children a big hug for me. And if there's anything I can do on my end, the Tammy Show, we're here for you, my brother. And again, I'm going to make sure we're going to stay in touch. So three words to describe you. Come on.
3 words that describe me. I'm going to say thought provoking is one word.
Is what?
Thought provoking is one word.
Thought provoking, yep.
Charismatic and conscious.
Charismatic and conscious, okay.
Yeah. I hope my charisma, you know what I'm saying, seeped through my pores and came through on the screen.
It did.
You know what I'm saying, was able to, you know, raise the energy. You feel me? Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody listening. I hope that charisma, the engagement, I consider myself an edutainer. You feel me? That's when you get education,
and get entertainment.
Engagement together.
Come on.
Yeah, holla at your boy. Holla at your boy.
I will holler at you, George. Listen, thank you so much, George. You take care of yourself, all right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Be
you.
blessed.
Appreciate you. My privilege you inviting me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I enjoyed it. Take care of yourself now. All right. Listen, I want to thank George Lee. I tell you what, they said George Lee speaks when it would, like they used to say, when E.F. Hutton speaks, you listen. Well, George Lee speaks, and you're definitely going to listen. And so I want to thank my guest, George Lee of George Lee Speaks, The Conscious Lee. I also want to thank Tom Swansiger, the Executive Director of Father to Father, Inc. Again, thank you, viewers, for always being on the show. Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, Alicia, my producers, for always making sure that everything runs smoothly. And all I can say is, what a great show. You know, this is still celebrating fathers. And so next week, you're going to meet two fathers, a chef and a fly gentleman who is the owner of his own company, a veteran, and he's also a father. And so you're going to meet them next week. Listen, until the next time, remember, stay safe. We still got to sometimes wear those masks, you know what I'm saying? Wash your hands and social distance, and continue to be safe. Until the next time, take care of yourself and have a great week. Be a blessing to somebody, always and every day. Bye-bye.